And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third episode of the world famous Breakaways and Breweries podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. What is Breakaways and Breweries? It's pretty simple, really. It's where a collection of four non-experts, well, actually, no, that's not true. Four armchair experts review some of the previous pro racing, look ahead at some of the upcoming races with a nice cold refreshing beer in our hands. Sounds pretty good. I am joined by Jamie, Danny and Louise once again. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good.
Yeah. Oh wow, you've really got a spring in your step.
Committed to that.
Real good.
Excellent. How's it going? How's it going, Louise?
Not bad. I wouldn't mind if the weather improved a little bit. It's been turbo season again this week, unfortunately. It's been hailstone in and gale force winds and all sorts of stuff.
Play.
So apart from that,
Gotta
things
get
are
that
good.
training
Yeah.
in. How about you boys down there?
Oh, yeah. I've had a week off the bike because it was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a bit
raced
softer
again on the
than
weekend,
always.
didn't you?
Yeah.
How'd you go?
I won by
You won?
default.
Yes, mate.
The best guy turned up 12 minutes late, so snuck a win, didn't I?
Hey, W's a W.
Yeah. So and then I've basically parked the bike since then.
yeah?
Retire on a high and all that.
Yeah, go out on a high. Yeah, love that. Danny?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
Yeah?
Busy, but yeah.
Super busy.
Ticking along. It's good.
We had a really successful weekend last weekend with our development ride,
Oh, yeah.
which is amazing.
That's
It's
awesome.
wicked. Like so many of our sort of like riders came down to help, and it's just amazing to see some of these guys who really love cycling, but just don't really feel very confident, either riding on the roads or have never ridden in groups before, and just to kind of see them buzzing at the end of it, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and just kind of absorbing in what it's like to ride in a group and sort of go through some of the rules, which some of them didn't know is in the rules of the road, not the rules of like riding in a group. And so next week it's all about what you wear, So we've done the
Straight
riding.
on to the hard stuff.
Yeah, we've done the riding bit, and it's now about what you look like on the bike, which
Force everyone into buying 600 quid's worth of attacker each.
That's right. No, but it's
Sorry, we sold out.
It's wicked. It's really, really good thing. So if any of you listening are interested in a development ride, we've got our June dates and July dates still available. But it's a really great initiative. I'm really, really proud of everybody getting stuck in and being a part of it. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, so let's before we start reviewing some of the previous races that we did, let's crack open some beers. So obviously the Giro D'Italia is what we're going to be previewing. So we've made some effort to get some beers from Italy. So we've got two in front of us. We've got a Peroni Gran Reserva Rosa, which is beautiful beer, lovely glass. And then a good friend of mine, Chris Davenport-Smith, recommended, if you're going to do something for a Giro D'Italia, I recommend this Birra da Mare, which is a really cool craft brewery from Rome. So you boys are on those. Louise and I are sticking to the non-alcoholic. So big shout out to Big Drop Brewing, who sent us some beers. And so they have all these different beers. We've got a Citra Pale, we've got a East Coast Pale, we've got a lager, and we've got a milk stout, all alcohol free.
Wow, that's cool.
So you and me need to fight over these ones. Which ones do you want?
Lager, please.
Lager, cool.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to try the Citra Pale.
It's like a medicine.
Oh, you need a bottle opener, don't you?
bottle.
Do it with your teeth. Or a cleat.
Are these different? Or are they the same?
Those two are the same, yeah. What are you guys going to start on?
I reckon we're going to... Should we start on the fancy one, Jamie?
Yeah, if they're not very good, you have Chris Davenport-Smith to blame.
Hang on, do it in front of the mic.
All right. Funny shaped bottle. God, terrible bottle opener.
We'll split that one.
There you go.
It's easier.
Nah.
Kind of looks like
Not
a
each,
medicine
obviously.
bottle, doesn't it? That
Yeah,
one?
no, it's quite cool. Like
it's
Yeah.
a really weird shape.
Yeah.
it's like
Very ergonomic.
it's like it should have like a message in it. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those
Washed up on a Caribbean
there you go.
island.
Yeah, that's it. There.
Ergonomic message in a bottle.
Yeah, so this one is alcohol free from Big Drop, and it's lovely. Oh yeah, got a lot of time for that. They used to have this on tap in a local pub, and this is a Paradiso Citra Pale. Love it. How's it over there, boys?
Yeah, it's good actually. Yeah.
Great.
Italian
Lovely.
IPA.
So
Never
we've,
thought I'd see the day.
before we get into this is a non-alcoholic, and I'm having a great time. So before we get into the reviews, we've had a request from listeners for Jamie to tone down his language. It's clear that when he has a few beers, his lips get a little loose. So we'll have a swear tin today.
Can we bleep out?
Yeah, on you. All right, cool. So we've had felt like a quiet week, but the last few weeks of racing have been pretty good. Should we have a bit of review?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Louise?
Some of our predictions have been pretty good, and some have
Not
been pretty
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Some were spot on,
Good do.
actually. Yeah, I think we did all right. A whole mixed bag, and some of the things we were saying, particularly Jamie.
Hey, Gado came third.
Good did come third.
And I called that.
Was there
you
the
did
pinch
call
flat,
that.
though? I was watching for that.
Oh,
There was no
well, no,
pinch flat.
Roglic was nowhere to be seen at the finish, so maybe.
Maybe he was on the train. So
We
he was
don't
getting the
know.
train.
No, that was Alaphilippe who actually did quite well.
Yeah.
So
He didn't.
he must have missed his
celebrate too
train because he was flying to catch it at the next stop.
early. Yeah, David Gadu third. Liège, best on Liège. You were calling it.
Big call.
Yeah, big call, mate. Good work.
I think we did good.
It was some good racing. I mean, Liège is a funny one, isn't it? Because it's a really arduous race. Well, I mean, look, for both the men's and the women's. And the women's race was really exciting to watch. But yeah, it's exciting in the last like half an hour. The rest of it's a little bit. Once that break goes, and it's a bit like, anyway, maybe I was just having an off day. Maybe I just wasn't too excited
Nah,
about
it was quite boring.
Yeah,
The men's was definitely very boring.
yeah.
Is that because it's too long, do you think? Is that why women's is more exciting sometimes? Because there's not the messing around in between? And
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think it's. I don't really know what. I suppose. I don't really know. It's one of those courses where obviously it takes such a beating on you because it's just up and down the whole time. And maybe it's just from like a watching standpoint. You really need to know the route and you need to sort of know when they're going to attack. I mean, obviously we saw Teo on the front of that climb, stringing out the climb, and that was a really exciting part of it. But I don't know. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, speaking of men's versus women's, like look at the difference in flesh alone. Like the women's race was so much more exciting than the men's. Like I stand by I think I said it last week. The men's is just big bunch into the bottom of the Mur, and then everyone rips each other's legs off. But the women's race was like super attacking race in that last kind of lap. So yeah, maybe it is because it's a bit shorter. Maybe the women are more active, and they want to put on a proper race. I don't know.
Did any of us call 7 in a row?
yes, we did.
Did we?
I think we did.
I didn't.
I think you were calling Voss, but you always do. So
I have to.
I think
now.
Louise
think I did.
can definitely claim that.
I wasn't sure if she would, because I was thinking that she was a bit ill or something
yeah.
recently. But I thought
You
it'd be
put her at the top, but you
I
didn't
did.
back her. But
I thought it'd be
she
enough
was
of an
she was on your
incentive.
she's on your top step.
It was,
so,
yeah. So yeah, we called
win's
it.
a win.
I'll take
as
it.
we've already
Take
said
it.
once in this podcast.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
It was
really
amazing.
Cool. 7 times
It's just
in a row.
that,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It was brilliant to see it, and it was nice. Like a lot of coverage on it. Yeah, it was good.
Really cool. Really cool.
It was really
Such a
good.
dominant performance from her as well. She just hit it at the bottom of the climb and just backed herself and won. That was great. Yeah, so good to see.
And then so that was Flesh, and in the men's, Valverde did really well.
Yes.
There's a lot of.
We love to see 41-year-old bike riders
Is he
just put the
41?
sword
Yeah,
to 25-year-olds.
He's 41. Yeah.
To be fair, it happens a lot at the weekend. Just constantly getting dropped by.
That's funny. Well, it's because you're not 25, mate.
Yeah.
Not-
As soon as I ticked
over the
over,
hill,
as soon as I
mate.
ticked over 25,
You got
it's
14
game
years
over.
of misery
Yeah,
until you're fit
just
again.
wait till you get to 41, mate, and apparently you'll come good.
Life starts at 41.
But it was good. It's funny, like obviously we're leading up to the Giro, and I'll be honest, like I had to like sort of muster a bit of willpower to sort of research this, because I'm always, and I said it last time, I'm always on a bit of a downer, as in like the classics are so exciting, and then Liège is like the last one that's like, oh, Grand Tours, and it's a bit like I'm always on this kind of a bit, because I find, because I love the classics so much, but then actually looking into it, you realise like the Giro, I mean all the Grand Tours, but the Giro is actually such an exciting race, and each year kind of all, and it, I'm very much, I know I'm very much wrong in my sort of approach to it, but each year I'm a bit like, oh, Giro, yeah, sure, watch it, but then it's always really exciting. And if you look back year on year, it's just it's just a really exciting race to watch, and it always throws up some surprises, always throws up great racing. I know it hasn't got maybe the glamour or the sort of the magnitude of the Tour de France, but it is just a stunning race. Obviously, before we sort of get into that in detail, there is a women's version of the Giro Rosa, but that's not on. And I thought it would be,
but it's not part of the World Tour.
Well, I thought it would be a really good opportunity to talk about that, as to talk about why it's not on, the reasons why not on. And then, Louise, it'd be great for you to kind of talk a little bit more about some of your work that you're doing around with the Internationals and the Tour de France. Giro Rosa, why is it not on?
So it was on last year, but the coverage was pretty much non-existent. So the UCI set a minimum amount of 45 minutes coverage needed per day, and the Giro Rosa just didn't do that last year. They made excuses about COVID and all that stuff, but the UCI have kind of stuck to their guns and just said not good enough. So they booted them off the World Tour this year. So the Giro Rosa is still happening this year, but it's not part of the Women's World Tour.
What's the reaction been to that? I suppose is it a good thing?
Yeah, I think so, because it shows that these requirements are there and have to be listened to, and all the other race organisers who are working really hard to stick to those requirements were actually saying this isn't fair if the Giro Rosa gets away with not doing what's minimum requirements. So there's been quite a lot of support around the UCI really sticking to that and booting them off the World Tour, but it's disappointing because it is an awesome race. It is one of the biggest, longest stage races for women at 9-10 days, because a lot of them are crap in comparison.
Well, I mean,
like La Course one
just
stage token effort is rubbish. The women's tour in UK is pretty much the best because we have coverage and a week of stages and stuff like that. But the Giro Rosa is excellent, that it's long and good, but it's so unfortunate that it clashes with the Tour de France every year. And even though some people say, oh well, everyone's into cycling that time, it is a good time to have a women's race on because people are all watching TV. It just gets absorbed in the Tour de France. There's no real noise about it, and it's a shame each time. So I think things are going to be shaken up a bit after last year that they've lost their world tours. They're trying to get it back for next year. So it's happening this year. It's on the 2nd to the 11th of July, so it's going to fall during the Tour de France again. They changed the name. It's going to be the Giro D'Italia Donna this year. So I think they're trying to just get away from all of the negativity around the Rosa and like rebranding it and hoping to get back on World Tour status next year. But it kind of spurs us on with what we're doing, the Internationals as well, because it's not just about the races happening, it's all the other stuff too. So the Giro Rosa was happening, but because there wasn't enough coverage, it's not good enough.
So for listeners who maybe aren't aware of the Internationals, maybe just explain a little bit about kind of what it is that the team that you're a part of and your raison peut-être, like why you exist. So
I'm part of a team of 10 women. We're from all around the world actually. There's a bunch of us in UK here, 5 Brits. We've got an Australian rider, a Dutch rider, and 3 Americans. We came together 2 years ago just to support a French women's team called Non de Zelo Velo, who ride the full route of the Tour de France the day before the pros, basically just as a rolling protest that there is no women's equivalent at all, that the La Course one day stage is not equivalent.
It's ridiculous.
So it's to prove firstly that women can do it, because the initial chat was that women weren't capable of riding multi-stages and stuff. So it's to prove that we can do it, and then also just to get people talking about women's cycling and stuff like that. So that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. We get lots of coverage about the stuff that we draw attention to, about prize money discrepancies and coverage and all that stuff. So that spurs us on to keep going, and we're doing big activity each summer just to get people talking about women's cycling and getting excited in it.
How have you found since you've started doing this? And obviously you've done it for a couple of years, and I know we can't talk about the event that you're planning this year or whatever you're mysteriously training for. We hope to find out one day. But how have you found the support and momentum behind it? Have you seen it?
It's been brilliant from day one, really, because I think the biggest thing is that people didn't realise there wasn't a women's Tour de France. They presumed there was one, and that maybe it wasn't on TV or whatever. So for us, it's been about educating people into the state of women's cycling, and people have been intrigued by it. And it's a real good time for women's cycling, a real good time to be chatting about equality. So the support has been wonderful from women and men alike, because we're all about people not being held back by their gender, and the same goes for guys too. People should be able to do whatever they want to do and not be held back by whether they're a boy or a girl. So support's been awesome.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, obviously, for people who want to listen more to Louise in depth, we have another podcast that we did earlier in the year, so definitely go and check that out. And look, fingers crossed next year for the Giro Rosa, it gets in its World Tour status and gets the coverage that it rightly deserves, along with the Tour de France.
Well, we'll see, because the ASO are saying that there's going to be a women's Tour de France starting next year, but there's still no detail about it. Sure. So actually, maybe that'll step in, and then there'll be no space for the Giro Rosa. We'll have to see, but that would be a great position to be in, having a load of races for the women to choose from, and for them to take their pick. But we'll see what happens.
Danny, you're from obviously Australia. Australia seems to have a pretty good sort of like women's like race sort of circuit. Is there? Are they having the same conversations over there with regards to kind of publicity and awareness?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough situation to be in as well. I mean, in Australia you have the National Road Series, so most National Road Series events, there's a women's event as well that runs basically at the same time, which is kind of how it should be. They usually one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon, or something like that. Part of the problem is like the numbers tend to be quite low. So where you might have 120 guys turn up for the men's race, the women's race might have some years there's like 25, which again, it's a problem with finding sponsorship to have enough teams to kind of have people show up to the races. But I mean, there's the women's Tour Down Under, which is like always a great race, really good start to the year. And again, that's run at the same time. Yeah. So if you're out to, actually no, it's usually run like a week before, but it's like everyone's down in Adelaide. It's like it's really good fun. So. I mean,
we talked about this on the podcast. I've been to the Tour Down Under, and it's just, as far as a professional cycling race with regards to kind of immersion from a fan's perspective for both men's and women's, it's unbelievable. It is. There's so much going on. There's so much excitement. And I think the reason I referenced Australia, because they've always seemed to be progressive with those type of things. And I wonder if, and obviously Australia's got some great riders in the women's peloton.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, Giro D'Italia. Have you guys found the prep for this?
I love the Giro because it's pink. And that's my thing.
Definitely your colour.
Yeah, I like the classics, but I'm a sucker for the the Tour de France and all that stuff. So the Giro for me is just the start of it. So to me it feels like summer's coming cool. and all that stuff. So I'm excited for it to start. I can't believe it's this weekend. It kind of crept up.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? It
took us by surprise. It was like, oh my goodness, like that makes total sense. Like even last night there was football on TV, and I'm not really into football, and I just happened to tune. I was like, oh, what's this? It's the like Champions League like semi-finals. Like, no, that's a bit early. It can't be. Right. And then you're like, actually, no, it's May. Like, what the hell's going on?
It's crazy.
So, It's still 4 degrees and raining outside.
It's pretty mad.
We've got 3 months of livable weather coming up though, so it's going to be good.
I know we started on a bit of a downer, because it's the same every year. But I mean, it is a brilliant race. So how have you guys found the prep for it, and what's your sort of like just overall views on the Giro?
Looking forward to it. Yeah. I mean, I like the Giro. Like a lot of attention gets put on the Tour, but I mean, and the Tour in recent years has been good racing, but in previous years it's been really boring. Whereas the Giro has been a lot more attacking and just more interesting racing. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I know that you've ridden in Italy. Have you ridden in Italy?
Yes, a couple of years ago. Dolomites. Yeah.
Jay?
Not ridden there.
Yeah.
Spent plenty of time there. Love the country.
I mean, great country. I mean, the Dolomites are just spectacular. Like, I've ridden there a couple of times. The last time it was I got invited out by Sportful, and it is just magnificent. Beautiful. Like just breathtakingly beautiful. Very hard, like challenging climbs, but just amazing.
Have you got any school trips to tell us about when you went to Italy as a boy?
No, definitely
Didn't get
not.
drunk in any World War II bunkers.
No, actually, that was a trip where I met. We did the interview with Sagan, and he had his jacket that was covered in Sagan
You got
patches.
this?
That was another trip.
Oh.
But yeah, the talking of beers, Birra Dolomiti is an amazing lager. So if you go to Dolomites, make sure you get stuck into those because they're great. So a bit of history on the Giro D'Italia. And actually, funnily enough, Giro is where we got our name. So the Giro D'Italia is where we got our name. And essentially, what Giro means is it basically means ride or tour or route or circle. So it basically means like the ride of Italy or the tour of Italy. And that's where we got our name. Unfortunately, when we first opened, a lot of people thought we were Gyro, but we're not Gyro. we're Giro. We're Giro.
Isn't a gyro some sort of kebab from
yeah,
Greece?
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's Giro.
Yeah, or a little attachment you can get for your BMX to do bar spins.
That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Used to have one of
We
those
should
on
have
my
been named
BMX
after that.
back in the day.
We should have been named after that.
Yeah.
That's with a Y though.
We should all ride BMXs. We should
Shout out to Paul Dog.
We should all ride BMXs.
Shout out to Paul Dog, yeah. So the first race was organised in 1909, can you believe it? And like similar to the Tour de France, it was basically to promote a newspaper. So it was promote like La Gazzetta dello Sport.
The famous
that's the
pink
famous
one.
pink newspaper, which is why the jersey is pink.
Genius.
It all comes together.
Cool, there's a good marketing team behind that.
Isn't
So
it?
the first edition, 127 riders started, and 49 riders finished.
Oops.
It was split into 8 stages and covered 2.5. I mean that's bonkers.
Bloody hell.
Cost 2,500 kilometres in 8
A few
stages.
big days out then.
It's a few big days. That's like more
Yuck.
than like Matt does.
Yeah.
That's
There's a lot
bananas.
of park ups at ice cream parlours.
Yeah.
A lot of good ice cream in Italy. You do that.
But I mean, some cycling legends have won it. You know, Merckx has won it 5 times. Inno's won it 3 times. Pantani's won it once in &98.
Only once?
That's the same year he won that and the Tour. But he's
Infamous.
just, you know, Pantani's. I mean, that's the thing about Italian. It's like, and many continents in Europe, but many countries on the continent in Europe. But Italy in particular, there's just something very passionate about, you know, cycling and their approach to it. There's one of the climbs that is near Feltre, which is where Sportful is I forget the name of it, and it could be Crouch de Uno, but it's where Campagnolo thought of the derailleur because he was so fed up with not being able to change gears. And so Campagnolo was the guy who invented derailleur, so thank you very much.
On ya.
And then actually a guy who's been in here a couple of times and nobody knew who he was the American rider Andy Hampsten, who won in 1988. And he was the guy who had those massive Oakleys that they like, I want to say the razor blades or something like, but the really big ones that they a couple of years ago released. And just the nicest guy. He was the first non-European to win the Giro. And he came in here and nobody knew who he was. And I was like, oh my God, that's Andy Hampsten. And lovely, lovely guy. But yeah, he was the first non-European to win it.
Wow.
One of the things that we asked, we kind of thought about preparing were our favourite Giro memories. What have you guys got?
Well, I don't know about favourite because it was pretty horrible to watch, but Stephen Kreiswijk crashing into a snow barrier. You think snow's going to be comfortable to hit. It didn't look comfortable.
Pretty hard, didn't it?
Full on cartwheel.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it.
basically frozen
Horrible.
water. So
Yeah, and he was going really well too that year.
Yeah, he was winning.
Kind of hasn't really.
He's winning, and then
he wasn't.
The same day,
and
someone
then
else crashed that day who'd just taken the lead because he crashed. The Russian guy, Katusha at the time.
I know who you mean, but I don't know who
I
you
mean as well. Zakharin.
Zakharin.
There we go. Got there in the end.
Don't remember that.
No, but he didn't win either because he also crashed. So, yeah, it's bad year for those two.
Not the best.
No.
Jay, favourite memories?
Ryder Hedgedale winning.
Oh yeah, what a legend.
Love that guy. Don't know why. I always liked the Garmin Sharp team back then. Wearing the blue jersey we've got on display there.
Yeah, with Dan
riding
Miller.
lovely Cervelo R5s in like gunmetal grey.
That was Wiggins those years, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
No, I think it
Was
was
that the
after
year?
Wiggins. It was like Miller. It was like Morton's Neo Pro year.
That was 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that was
don't know
Wiggins.
why. Just that was like one of my first cycling memories
How fun.
of like watching racing, and just enjoyed it. I think he's a bit of an underdog, which is probably why. I can't remember exactly because it's a little while ago now. But
because I mean, he doesn't look like your typical GC guy. He's 6'6" or something. Canadian,
good tester.
He's got it all against him. Louise.
Just the last couple of years, last few years, how well the Brits have been doing at it. That really excites me as well. There's some wicked shots a few years ago of Froomey on his pink bike by the Coliseum, and then last year as well. It's been a great race for Brits. So
it really has.
It'd be interesting to see if we can continue that this year. We've got a few guys on form. So
I mean, that stage, it's really interesting. That stage with Froome, if they did like this kind of like interview in it, and it's all sort of like tracked, and basically it was all because what was it then? Were they Ineos then, or was it Sky? I can't remember.
It's still Sky.
They worked. They obviously had a bad first week, and they worked out right. Okay, you can do this, but you need to basically shed some weight before then. So it's all sort of calculated, and this is what they say anyway. But if it fits true, amazing. And so essentially, it got to that stage, and it was like, I'm saving your energy to that. And sure enough, from the off, I mean, how many Ks was he on his own?
So 80 something K.
80K on like the Queen stage of the Giro, like all the climbing. It was just amazing to watch. We had it on the
gravel
cafe
climb as well,
and nobody wanted to leave. That big gravel climb was amazing.
Science in Sport used it to leverage their new drink with carbohydrates in, which now every brand does.
Oh yeah.
Because they said they had soigneurs at each point in the route from when he was going to break away with a bottle of this magic dust and
magic. You can't say magic dust, mate. That implies something else.
I might be implying something else. I don't know. I don't know what I'm implying in this day and age, but they use that to launch their beta fuel.
Oh wow!
I bought a sachet off the back of it. Actually, no.
You still
do you immediately win your next race?
That was perhaps contributing to my foul mouth.
Could you speak Italian? After
No, Tristan lent me a sachet when we were in Thailand and got round on no sleep. Good times.
Happy days.
Beta fuel
and then
available now, not at Giro.
Obviously last year Teo winning.
Amazing.
I mean, talk about an exciting race. It comes down to it was like some of the Tour de France's back in the 80s. It comes down to the final stage, which was a proper time trial. Jai Hindley went into it in pink, and of course, he not that he cracked, it just Teo did a better job.
Not as good
it was
a time
amazing.
Trial,
Finished it not in pink.
Here's this dude from London winning the Giro D'Italia. Oh, it's amazing. So cool. It was amazing. So cool. And Yates has gone very well.
Until like stage 19, he's gone very well, and then he spectacularly blew up and lost like half an hour.
Yeah, bless him.
That's not a good memory, but it's a memory.
Look, this is the beauty of Breakaways and Breweries, because we can happily sit in our armchairs and call him an idiot.
I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Why weren't you fitter?
I'll happily laugh at him.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So let's start talking about this year's race. Danny, I think you've got some stats for us.
I do. So this year's route is for 3,479.9 kilometres long. Total elevation gain of 49,582 metres. So for those playing along at home, that's about 164 kilometres average per stage, and about 2,250 or something metres climbing per stage.
And
that's including some real dead flat stages. So it's there's some serious climbing in this one. It's a bit less than last year though.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And it's some of the least time trialling kilometres of the of recent Giros.
Oh no.
But maybe we'll talk a bit more about that later.
There's still a fair bit though.
There's 38 kilometres of time trialling. There's a prologue at the start and then the finish time trial into Milan.
Okay.
Most of the climbing's in the third week, so it comes. I guess it's kind of traditional for Grand Tours, isn't it? It comes when your legs are already pretty tired.
Figures.
What other stats have we got? The highest point on the entire race is the Passo Pordoi, which is in the Dolomites. It's on stage 16, and that's 2,231 metres. So it's not as high as some of the previous Giros have gone. I think was it last year? It was like 2,700 metres or something.
And there will definitely be snowbanks. I think we can.
There will be
snowbanks.
I think so.
Well, if it's as cold as here, there will
keeps
be.
It up.
Yeah. Well, the whole of Europe's cold, mate.
Snowbanks on Esher High Street at the moment.
That's that beta talking. That's that beta stuff talking, mate.
The line I had before.
Yeah, I mean some of the climbs in it are just absolutely bananas.
Oh, horrific! Yeah.
I mean, Louise has got the stage profiles in front,
nasty,
and
yeah.
I mean, what's that one stage? Is it
That's
stage
nice.
5? That's basically a straight line for 180 kilometres.
Yeah, that looks a bit
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
Yeah,
the
enough, that's
flat. It's like
boring.
just watch something else. Watch table tennis.
Yeah.
Like
That's lame.
There are some must-watch stages. That's
Hey, table
not
tennis is
unless
pretty
it's
good.
crosswind.
Stage
If there's
13
a
as
filthy
well.
crosswind,
198k flat.
I mean, there's I forget which stage it is, but there's if you look at the not the profile, but the actual map, it's literally I think they just get on a motorway, just get on a straight
Does look
motorway,
that
and it's
way,
like
yeah.
cool, off you go. It'll be like crossing the Nullarbor.
yeah,
You're right at the
there's some
back.
Ferraris bombing past them at 200 mile an hour.
yeah,
It's going to be good.
that's racist, mate. Come on, you know. I'm sure there's Volkswagens out there too.
I mean, in terms of like the stages, the breakdown of the stages, I count probably 6 pure sprint stages, I
Okay.
reckon. So there's quite a few opportunities for the sprinters, and there's some decent sprinters turning up. And then probably 2 stages which could be won by like a Sagan style sprinter or a pure sprinter if it's easy, I reckon. And then the rest are hilly, like proper filth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoncolan's in there.
Zoncolan, yeah.
Everyone loves it.
Talk to us about the Zoncolan.
Oh, I don't have the actual profile in front. Have you got the Zoncolan there?
Which one's that?
That is stage 14.
Yeah.
So the Zoncolan's not the longest climb, but it's definitely the steepest sort of
That's
consistent
the one
climb.
Froome
the
drank all
Zoncolan-
that drink on.
I've got it here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
No, it's not.
he drank
Is it not?
the beta.
No, I don't think so. So they go up a slightly different way
What
up
do
the
I know?
Zoncolan. Oh, it doesn't actually have the stats on this. Anyway, it's steep. Sometimes people walk. It's one of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be walking.
I would be walking.
I would definitely be walking.
I'd have stopped halfway and parked up with a, what's this?
Good luck with that.
So, I mean, essentially, it's with the Giro D'Italia, it's similar to the Tour de France, in that you've got the overall or the general classification, which is essentially the individual who can do all of the stages in the fastest time together, and then you've got the sprinters' jersey, the climbers' jerseys. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to play for.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Apparently.
20 is that the
Yeah.
Zoncolan?
Yeah,
there you go.
27%. That's not
get out of
funny.
town.
Just steeper than bar hat.
Absolutely filthy.
Nasty.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I mean, obviously, this is what's so incredible about, in particular, the Giro and also the Vuelta. Actually, the Vuelta has some pretty savage climbs, in that they stick these absolutely filthy sort of like big climbs in. But it's in the middle of a 180k stage, so this is where you're seeing like the riders at their absolute limit
2 weeks
of
in
physical
as well.
performance. 2 weeks in, exactly, after a couple of race days.
Mm-hmm.
And our friend Owen's going to be out there.
He's already there. I think that's why I realised that it was coming soon, because he
Yeah.
was gearing up to go to Italy, and he's already there having a good time.
Shout out Pancake Peloton.
Mm-hmm.
And-
Saw him buying rice on his story
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah, Will Girling's with him as well. They're both
Go
feeding lots of
and
people.
we'll put the links below. Go give them a follow. They're sort of the chefs for EOF Nippo team, and they just give a really great insight to what they do behind the scenes. So EF Nippo putting a lot of energy behind Hugh Carthy, British
Yeah.
Hugh Carthy.
Mhm.
And a
So-
new kit released today.
They did a
Have
new
you seen
kit.
it?
Yeah,
they did, yeah.
A few teams have done a new kit today.
They've all copied the EF model from last year where they released that Palace
Oh
collaboration.
yeah,
Oh,
nice.
the duck.
But
And
EF
none
have
of
done
them have
another
done it.
one.
Whack, whack.
What have EF got this time? Because they can't wear the pink because it's too similar. So that's why they went with ducks, wasn't it?
It's kind of like a sort of bluey turquoise base with some colour blocks.
Huh.
Mm.
I
It's-
mean,
I'd say it's.
I'd go and have a look at
nice,
it rather
but
than
it's
listen
not-
to me talking about it. It's like everywhere on Instagram right now, and I'm not really doing it justice. But it's not as good as the duck kit.
That
No.
was terrible. Did you like that?
No, I liked
Loved
it.
it.
Oh,
It was
Yeah,
terrible in
loved
like
it.
a good way.
Yeah.
lot of times.
Terribly good.
What I liked about it was that it was amazing to see a team take a really bold stand away from the tradition, which I quite
Yeah,
liked.
yeah.
Who else has got a new team kit that I saw today?
Israel.
Israel, yeah. Lovely kit. Really, really nice kit. I liked it.
Yeah, it's designed to look like red wine because one of their sponsors makes red wine.
Oh.
There you go.
Avao Podicella. That's what we should have done. We should have done wine instead.
We should have done wine.
Yeah. Bleep. We should have done wine.
Yeah. Next time.
We do
Next
that for the
time.
tour. We can have French wine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Talk
into
Oh,
that.
we
now we're talking.
I'm looking
Oh,
forward to the
sure.
tour
Bit
podcast.
of a cheese board.
Yeah.
I like the
Um,
cheese board.
So we'll put some of the sort of like interesting routes below. But I mean, I think this is set up to be a really exciting. Maybe let's talk some of the riders that are entering and where we are. Riders to watch out for.
Should we chat
jerseys
sprinters?
Are we going to do? Yeah.
So
should we do sprint jersey first?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So there's a sprint jersey, which is. I guess should we explain that a bit?
Yeah.
More
you probably
for the
should, Danny.
Yeah. So in terms of the sprint jersey, it's kind of similar to the sprint jersey at the Tour de France, where you get points for intermediate sprints as well as the finish sprints.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of really good sprinters there, but there aren't a lot who will be going for the sprint jersey, I'd imagine.
Right.
Peter Sagan is looking on really good form after his last few races. After looking a little bit off form and rumours about him leaving the team, he's really good again.
Loves again.
So in the points classification, looking at the betting odds now.
Oh.
Gamble responsibly. Peter Sagan is paying £1.80 for the sprint jersey, and the closest is Nizzolo on £9. So I think that's probably a foregone
quite the
conclusion.
chasm.
Oh, really? But is it a case of, because obviously...
Pure sprinters like a stage win, whereas the points jersey
jersey
requires a bit more endurance,
being able to get
effort.
around.
More consistent.
Like Caleb Ewan is there, who's one of the top sprinters at the moment, but
he'll get tinned.
And he will sack it off on stage 10.
He's very similar to Cav in that, it's a case of getting through to the finish each day when it's on a...
totally. Yeah.
Listen to, I think it was Stanley Street Social, they do the interview with him, I think in the Tour last year.
Yeah.
And he was saying, honestly, when it comes to a climb and I blow up, I can't push more than like 200 watts. And I'm like, that's like me. I can't push more than 200 watts.
Except at the finish, he can do 1800.
That's not the point.
Hey, you did like 1700 the other day. I saw your Wahoo after that Belgie.
Yeah. There was a chance it was a malfunction.
There was
definitely a chance it was a malfunction.
I saw you
climb 6, mate.
Yeah.
1700 the whole way up.
Yeah.
I saw you accelerate up there.
So we're saying it's not really going to be a pure sprinters race for the...
there are enough stages for the pure sprinters.
Sure.
I don't know how many will get to the finish.
We'll have some good battles between Caleb, Merlier, Tim Merlier, who's been on form this season for Alpecin. Obviously, Caleb's probably fastest sprint in the world right now in a pure sprint.
It's probably worth mentioning
Groenewegen's back. Yeah.
Groenewegen's back. Obviously, after the crash that happened last year, and he said, was it a 9-month ban? I think it was 9 months. Yeah. Obviously, so he's back. So it'd be interesting to see what form he's in.
He's good at sprinting.
He's good at sprinting.
He's very good at sprinting.
He might be a little bit nervous.
I'm sure. Look, hopefully people give him a break and time's done his thing, and he can move on. And we can watch him sprint, which would be cool.
Yeah. Giacomo Nizzolo.
Shall we
home race?
Should we get in before we start talking about the next topic? Should we get into another set of beers?
We probably should.
I think we should.
Do it.
So you guys have got the Peroni Gran Reserva.
I love the bottle of that. Looks like
Isn't it beautiful?
Kind of mini bottle of champagne.
Don't worry, we got some for you to take home. It's all good.
You.
And then right, so we've got. Do you want a pale ale, or do you want a milk stout?
Pale ale,
I think.
Right,
I'll go for the milk stout.
Thank you.
Lovely. One of the things you were saying earlier, Louise, which is really interesting, is that we've got a lot of Brits that are entering this race.
Yeah.
But not only entering, we've got a lot of Brits that are in really good form, and we've got a lot of Brits that can really compete for the GC this year. It's exciting. It's really exciting. So last year, in the Vuelta, we had Hugh Carthy go exceptionally well, and he's now doing the Giro, which is brilliant. So, and I know I mentioned earlier, EF Nepo are putting all their guns behind him, which is really exciting.
So they are all in for him. That's cool.
That's what we seem to understand. I'm not sure who else on the team, but that's as far as I know it.
Simon Carr.
Simon Carr's really exciting, actually.
Strada.
Yeah.
Young Brit.
I went to school with a guy called Simon Carr, but it's not the same guy.
Not the same guy. This guy's about 21. Not saying you're old, Jordan.
I am old.
That's shot fired.
I am old. You young pups over there. Who?
TJ Van Garderen.
He's not English.
No, but he's British. A good domestique to have.
Oh right, yeah. For the team.
And he's riding for Hugh Carthy.
So let's talk about some of these Brits we've got stacked up, which is brilliant. It's so exciting to see.
I mean, Simon Yates, I guess, is probably the big favourite, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've definitely got him top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, don't go early on the podiums, Danny.
Sorry,
come
mate. I won't tell you the rest of my list.
We've got to save that
one
till
sip of
later.
that
Yatesy,
beer,
I reckon. I reckon he's probably the most exciting. Maybe not the most exciting, but I think he's the most likely to be on the podium out of the British contingent for sure.
So, what team is he on?
Yatesy, oh god, that's
Team
bad. I always get the two
Bike
confused.
Exchange,
Yeah,
Green Edge.
they change their name
they
every
changed
3
their
minutes.
name.
What are they called
Yeah,
this
Bike
year?
Exchange.
Just Bike
Yeah.
Exchange.
Just
Is
Bike
actually
Yeah, they're the
easier
ones on
than
the
Oracle
I thought.
Bike Exchange, Green Edge.
Just Bike Exchange.
Scott.
So that's Simon Yates.
Yeah, with a pretty good team behind him as well.
Tanel Kanga is a weapon.
Yeah, and a couple of good Mikel Nieve, Nick Schultz for the climbs, Callum Scottson to sit on the front all day.
With Hepburn.
Yeah.
One of the things that they've always got going for them is they are always such a team with like really good positive cohesion. Like they just work together really well. They clearly have a good laugh together. And obviously since last season the Yates brothers are now separated. They're in different teams now, and it seems to be working out for good for both of them. Jay, you were talking about last year or the year before last, Yates's sort of exceptional blow up. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
He was. I think he was like at least a minute ahead on the GC, but it was coming into the final few days, and on one climb he just blew up spectacularly. So he's ever since then. It might have even been like 3 or 4 years ago. Ever since then, he's lived by this memory. So I think he's got a point to prove, and he wants to try and sort of abolish this perhaps slightly negative sort of memory of how he races a Grand Tour, because typically the media say, oh yeah, but can he last the 3 weeks? Can he last the 3 weeks after blowing up so spectacularly with a few days to go? I think he really probably wants to put that to bed, and this is probably his best chance. It's the same race. He's got a good team around him. He's not fighting with his brother for leadership. It's as good an opportunity as ever for him to prove himself. He's just come out of Tour of Romandy or Alps, was it? Alps. Tour of the Alps, he did. He won that convincingly. Obviously, that's a shorter race, so that 3 week question mark's still there. But
it'd be great. It'd be great
he
for
looks
that.
good.
Great for that team as well.
Oh yeah,
It'd be really great for that team.
They've been chasing. They've kind of gone down the GC route since losing sprinters like Gerrans and Michael Matthews. They've kind of started to go down the GC route with Chavez and Adam Yates and Simon Yates now. So, their team's sort of gearing more and more towards that, and they should put him in a strong position. And if he can finish it off without blowing up on the last few days, he's a good bet.
Well, getting the COVID, he had a positive case, I don't know if it was him or the team last year, so he had to pull out last year as well. So I'm sure he's pretty hungry for the Giro and to do well. Yeah,
the race of redemption for him.
We've got some exciting riders from my part of the world as well.
Oh yeah?
Can we chat Jai Hindley?
Oh yeah, mate.
What do we think? Second last year, looked good all race. Do we reckon he's got the legs?
It looks like they've backed him. He's number one in their team.
He is in my selection.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll. I think he might manage a top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I hate.
But that would be a good result for him.
Yeah.
I think in this field.
He's got some good Aussies supporting him. He's got Chris Hamilton and Michael Storer as well. But yeah, to be honest, I don't think he's going to make the podium this year. I'd love to be wrong. But yeah, George Bennett as well. Yep. Getting a tilt, finally getting a proper
You're not from
Grand
New Zealand.
Tour. What you talking about, bro? I'm Kiwi is.
That's right.
Yeah, finally getting a proper tilt at GC.
Yeah, he's leader on that stacked team.
Be exciting to see.
And he's got Eduardo Feeney and Tobias Foss looking after him. There's some good riders.
That's a good team, actually, isn't it?
It's a very good team.
Good young team. They're obviously, they're all in for Roglic at the Tour, but they're obviously giving these younger guys a chance of their own here at the Giro, which, it's one of the things with the Giro. It's often because of the Tour getting the focus and the Giro Tour double being so hard nowadays with all, the level everyone's at. The Giro becomes this race where younger teams do get a chance. Younger riders get a shot at GC where they wouldn't necessarily get a shot at GC. You know, Teo, Jai Hindley last year.
Yeah.
You know, that came from illness and injury a little bit. But
I mean, last year also came to the timing of it because everything, it was so much later in the year than normal. But it's in May. The Giro is traditionally like susceptible to weather, and I think now in particular because we're seeing this like extended cold spell through. I mean, let's not call it an extended cold spell because winter's lasting forever in Europe at the minute. It will be interesting to see, you know, if it kind of if the weather plays ball or not. What was it last week? Was it Romandy that was just absolutely
miserable? Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, horrible.
People's hands slipping off handlebars.
Should suit
left,
Simon
right,
Yates.
Right and centre.
He's used to riding around up north in the UK.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
nice
That's why these Brits will go.
Nice and hardened to any wet weather.
Somebody else in the GC that'll be interesting. A return for Remco Evenepoel.
The Phenom.
Meh.
So, Danny, what happened to him last year?
So last year, was it Liège? No.
Lombardy.
Went round a corner.
Sorry, not last year. Was it the year before? Or was it last year?
No, it was last year.
It was last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went round a corner and then head first over a bridge and broke his pelvis and a few other bits and pieces. A really nasty crash.
Bits and pieces.
For those who don't know, Remco is really young rider. But it just almost wins everything he enters.
Ex-professional?
Well, yeah, he was on a fast track.
He quit football. He's 21.
Football.
He quit football at 16 and just basically went in and just started winning. I mean, just to reel off his results, his most recent results.
DNF at
GC,
Lombardy.
Tour of Poland.
That's his last result.
Yeah.
So just for the record, it's his first race back.
But just last year, he won overall at Tour of Poland, Tour of Portugal, Volta Algarve, Volta San Juan. So he entered 4 stage races last year and won 4 stage races. So this guy is
and then crashed,
phenomenal, and then crashed, didn't get around a corner.
So
it was
he
really
could either
unknown
win it or not finish.
Yeah,
I mean there was a lot.
It's really up in the air.
Jamie doesn't like Remco.
There was a lot made. There was a lot made, and rightly so, about the bridge where he crashed on. It was just at
very
the
dangerous.
bottom of descent, so narrow, and he literally went flying. Hannah and I were watching it. And you didn't need to understand cycling to know just how horrific it was. Just seeing him go flying, he was just lying there. And then they took something out of his pocket. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'm just remembering it now.
It was a bottle.
The Soigneur took a bottle of something.
Whoa.
It was a bottle of Beta.
Where did all those results come from?
Take those alcohol-free beers off Jordan.
Yeah, that's right. Getting a lactose high right now. No. But it was I didn't plan on saying that. I just remembered it.
Yeah, no. I remember seeing his DS or someone out the car scrambling down the valley into the river behind him.
Maybe it was his wallet. Maybe he nicked his wallet. Yeah.
It's probably full of cash.
That 20
€6-year
euros
contract.
he saved for an ice cream on the way home.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not having that ice cream now, Remco. You should have got round.
So it'd be interesting to see how he is, because obviously it's his first sort of like proper big race back from injury. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. Whether he's going to be coming back firing. He's
like second favourite.
Wow.
I might have to eat my words on this.
He's well up there.
And I'll happily do a video statement if I have to eat my words on this, but I just don't think he should be favourite.
He's paying £5.50 for an overall win, which is...
Danny agreed with me earlier, but now he's seems to be being quite nice about him. He's disappointing.
Just fast, mate.
What's Yates on for a win?
£4.33.
Oh.
So he's favourite.
Gamble responsibly. Yates is the favourite.
Yates is favourite. Oh,
Egan Bernal close.
Bernal at second at $4.50, and then Vlasov, my favourite Russian, at £15, which I think is a really good value bet.
Who's your second favourite Russian?
Sivakov.
Probably. Well, he's kind of French. What flag does he race under?
Someone said
he lives in France.
He's Russian, but someone said he's very English too.
Oh wow!
Yeah. There we go.
Who knows?
Valverde, he's got to be good.
He's not racing. But
he's not racing.
Who you looking out for, Louise?
Geraint. I can have a price on Geraint, please.
Not racing
not
also.
Racing?
No, he's doing the tour.
He's
all in for the tour.
No.
I think there was
excited.
talk that he was going to do it,
Yes,
but obviously
I thought he might.
Yeah.
I think the main GC storyline is I think like the top 2 or 3 are probably going to be like Yates and Bernal.
Yeah.
But then the rest, the top 10, top 15 is wide open. So I think the battle for like third is going to be more interesting than the battle for the win.
So is Bernal doing this race? Do we believe that that's Ineos backing G at the Tour?
It's just Bernal's
You'd like to think
not
so.
a definite. His injury's just not.
Oh right, yeah.
100. Like he can't guarantee he'll he's come out in the press before this race saying he doesn't know if he'll finish.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
But he is the favourite if he can finish.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And then he won't race the Tour?
He won't race the Tour.
Okay.
I think there's too much riding on the Tour for a team like Ineos to back a guy whose back could just give up after 3 days.
Yeah.
So I think
they must be backing G then, especially if he's on good form and stuff and being saved for the Tour.
Yeah, there's a lot of time
That'd be
trialling
awesome.
in this year's Tour. Obviously, we're not doing a Tour preview right now.
Yeah, we'll do it next time with
But
the wine.
G's pretty
do
good
that
at
a week before the next one.
2 days before
2
it
days
starts.
before, yeah.
But G's pretty good at time trialling.
Yeah.
So the Tour route this year will, it will play into a rider like his hands. So yeah, maybe that's why Bernal not so good at time trialling.
So really, we're saying that this route in particular is just going to suit good climbers.
Pure climbers.
Yeah.
Danny doesn't look
Maybe
sure.
more so than previous years, but there's still 2 flat time trials, so
Yeah.
depends on how the climbs are raced, I think.
Amazing. It'd be great to see Sagan get some points too, or get some sprint win. It'd be great to
Yeah.
see Caleb, get a win. Yeah, it's exciting. And also, obviously, the one of the things that's great about this race is the Italian fans go absolutely bonkers for the Italian teams. So I always get these like random wildcards and also Italian riders. Viviani is probably going to be getting some.
Bardiani, Sidemek.
And then
Big team.
Oh, yeah.
Vincenzo Nibali, who's broke his wrist. Was it last
had
week
a bad crane
or something?
Yeah.
Only 2 weeks ago. So he's racing, whether or not he'll be in any form or whether or not they're just going to shove him full of painkillers.
Still Trek's #1 rider.
Yeah.
I can't
He's
wait
good.
to see Iolo Cometa in the breaks.
Who?
Exactly.
Hey, John Archibald rides.
Literally never heard of this team, but there you go.
All right, and
They're
then
there.
and then we got Mark Soler as well. He go pretty well. All right. Let's do some predictions.
Let's do it.
Louise.
I want us to keep the win, so
Yes.
I want Yates
Keep
to
the
bring
win.
it home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yates.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you got a podium?
No.
No, just Yates.
Just
Yates. Just like I am with Voss.
I reckon Bernal will be on there if he can if he can finish.
And chuck Hugh Carthy in there for another Brit.
Yeah, I got Hugh Carthy as well. So
That's exciting, isn't it? We're talking about Brits at the Giro, which is great.
It's awesome.
And potentially winning back to back, which is excellent. I mean, we did that in the Tour, from 2012 on, and it's brilliant that it's starting to take shape in the Giro, which is really exciting. All right, your predictions.
All right. I got Simon Yates on the top step as well.
Nice.
Put Bernal second, and I've actually put someone who we haven't talked about yet, but Joao Almeida. I put him in for third. I reckon he's on form.
Yep.
Good for a run.
And he'll have Remco riding for him.
Yeah.
The favourite. He'll have the favourite pulling turns.
The prodigy. And then for my outsider, I originally had Hugh Carthy, but I'm going to chuck George Bennett. Into the mix. I'd love to see him get
on your George.
That make me so happy. Sweet as.
Sucks.
Sure, bro.
Taylor's going to listen to this, be so disappointed in you.
All right, Jamie, what are you saying?
Where have you hidden mine, Danny? Oh, I did a top 5.
Well, you did do a top 5. It's a
Wow.
it's a really big podium.
Well done, Jamie. So Simon Yates to win. Mark Soler second, because I watched the Netflix documentary on Movistar.
Oh, yeah.
I like his odds now. He's the leader.
Yeah.
Because he was, he's a loose cannon, but when he's going well, he goes really well.
Yeah.
Hugh Carthy third.
Yeah.
Dan Martin fourth, in that lovely new kit they've got, and then Joao Almeida fifth because he always gets dropped on a steep climb. And then my outsider was George Bennett, which Danny just stole. And Taco van der Hoorn.
Taco van der Hoorn. I love this guy.
Yeah.
The Mexican
The
champion.
least likely GC. Should we see what he's paying for the win?
So Taco van der Hoorn
Let's
is
see what he's
actually
paying.
Dutch.
We might have to request his
and
odds.
He's Mexican Dutch.
Yeah, Mexican. I just like his name. And I think he'll get a good day in the breakaway.
I like that.
Yeah, we'll get a good day in the breakaway, and it
like
might lead to him being high up on the GC. Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so my podium.
He doesn't come up on me.
Jamie, I'm sorry. I've just gone for a traditional podium of 3 riders, not 5.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Old
so I'm going out there and I'm saying for the win is João Almeida.
Okay.
I mean, I love Portugal, and I always think he goes really well. He is in form. If he's given a bit of backing, I think he could do really well. But yeah.
He's got best domestique in the peloton. The favourite, Remco.
Exactly. And then I've got Hugh Carthy and Simon Yates. And then my outsider is Jai Hindley.
It's a good outsider.
It's a good outsider, yeah. Jai Hindley. Not Voss. Voss isn't in my predictions. Yeah, I know, unfortunately. Other riders that I'm keen to see. It'd be great to see Dowsett get a TT victory. I mean, he's just a good dude. Another Brit. Yeah, got a lot of time for him. Dan Martin maybe get a stage win. Whether or not he'll be strong enough for GC, who knows? But yeah. So yeah.
I got some breaking news.
Oh yeah.
Volta Algarve today. Ethan Hayter has just won.
Oh really? What, the whole thing?
Won the stage.
Oh right, okay.
Stage 2.
Oh wow.
Great result.
That's great.
Wonderful. Speaking of Brits, good to see.
So we've got some Danny's tactic bits.
Oh.
But before we do that, we've got some Jamie. We've got some outsider input for the podiums.
Oh yeah. We've had some guest submissions on the podium. So just to mix it up a bit, we've got a couple of friends of Giro thrown their hat in the ring and sent us some traditional 1, 2, 3 podiums. So Tom Coles has gone all in on Spain at the Giro D'Italia, and he's backed Pella Bilbao for the win, Mikel Landa for second, Mark Soler, my guy, for third. Pete Clifton, he's gone Yatesy like the rest of us, well, apart from you, John. Yatesy. Bookman, he's thrown a new name into the mix. Bookman for Bora Hansgrohe. He got 4th at the Tour a few years ago, and yeah, some people have got him down as might go all right, but no one really knows. And then he's put Evenepoel third. Remco third.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's going to ditch João Almeida on a steep climb.
Interesting.
And take the win. And then Franco. Franco's gone Hugh Carthy for the win, Yates for second, and third for Bernal.
Nice.
So a few names, different order.
Nice. Well, cheers for that. So while Danny's getting his tech tip bits ready for this one, for any of you guys who are listening and going to be watching the Giro and want to get involved on Twitter, use the hashtag Breakaways and Breweries. Let's get that trending. Let's get that autofill happening. So we don't have to spell out every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should just do B&B or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really long hashtag to have to type when it's not trending.
Yeah. Come on, let's get it trending. But get involved. Any thoughts on this? Use Instagram, Twitter, all of those. Hashtag Breakaways and Breweries.
That's how we got our guest submissions for the podium. They all chucked it in the ring via the hashtag.
All right, Danny.
All right, before we do tech tidbits, let's chat the Fantasy League.
Oh.
We don't have to chat the Fantasy League. Anyway, we have a Giro Fantasy League. We run it through Velo Games, and we'll put the league code in the podcast notes, I guess.
Perfect.
Shout out to Dan Fletcher, who was very keen to get involved.
Nice.
All right, tech tidbits. So, there's no breaking tech news that's really super interesting.
Okay,
so I figured we'd talk. Let's just skip that. I figured we'd talk time trials. Talk time trials. So, I mean, in a race that's often dominated by climbing, time trialing is still super important, and this is where you'll see the really skinny climbers not go so well. So that like Jai Hindley last year. So he basically lost the Giro in the time trial.
The final stage this year again is a time trial.
Exactly.
Man, that's exciting.
And
really
the first stage.
And the first stage. So it's
the
kind
fight
of a
for the pink jersey, day one, is all down to a time trial.
Yeah. So stage 1 is 8.6 kilometres, and it's pretty much dead flat. So a short time trial like that is really going to favour like the big boys who can just put out massive raw watts. So I think Filippo Ganna, people like that. Campenaerts maybe. Yeah, I mean he's quite small. He's just aero. And then stage 20.
I stand by what I said.
He's
Shut down there, John.
the big 61 kilo Victor Campenaerts.
He's had a beer and a half and he's just being rude.
And then stage 21 is 30 Ks, and it's pretty much flat as well. So aero is everything.
For the little boys.
For the little boys. Well, maybe not.
Campenaerts.
Maybe Campenaerts.
Now we're in.
Now we're talking. I guess one of the things with that people often don't realise is the massive differences that equipment can make in a time trial. So there was some kind of like numbers done on. Shut up, Jamie.
Let's hear it.
On skin suits. So in previous years, the skin suits have been done by maybe not so good makers, and that's why kind of in the tour. The skin suits have been made by Lecoq.
As in whoever's wearing.
So whoever's wearing the jersey. Sorry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
fine.
whoever's wearing like the yellow jersey would be riding in a Lecoq skin suit, not the skin suit their team spent millions of pounds on developing. So there was some maths done on the 2017 Giro D'Italia. If Nairo Quintana wasn't wearing the Santini skin suit and was wearing his Enduro team issue one, he would have won in that final time trial.
Ooh,
so
really?
this is the type of differences we're talking. So in terms of watts, like a good skin suit versus a kind of a crap one, you might be saving like 25 watts. Which
over
is,
an hour?
Well, just 25 watts, say at 45k an hour, 50k an hour.
Watts.
It's a lot. It's a lot of watts. So, I mean, like people train for years to get 25 watts. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I love watching TTs because I love looking at the positions and the
Jamie's
kits.
skeptically shaking his head.
Jamie, you bought a skin suit for your race, didn't
I
you?
know.
He bought the cheap skin suit, and that's why he's slow.
I thought it was going to be a winning combo.
It's slow. It just
mullet
mullet let
slowed
you
me down.
Right.
You think it slowed you down? Was it baggy?
That's why I've shaved
Was
my
it?
hair.
Mullet
Was it
slowed
flapping?
it down.
Yeah.
That's why I've
Baggy
shaved.
mullet.
No, I actually at one point in the race saw a shadow of my like mullet flicking out the back of this stupid aero
should have
helmet
gelled it
I
into like a
wasted all
foil.
my money on.
Did you think it was someone
So
attacking?
I was like,
that could have
well, I've
sped
got to
you
get
up.
rid of that. No, I don't think it was doing the aero tripping.
When your
I
mullet's
needed it to.
overtaking you in a race, you're not doing
Yeah.
well.
I don't know. I think you should back the helmet that we bought you.
Yeah, the Spelunk.
The Spelunk, yeah.
The Spelunk. Yeah, no, I'll be
the
rolling out in the Spelunk this weekend
Telling you.
And skin
No.
suit
Yeah.
and skin suit.
And
for
you'll win.
25 watts.
Well, apparently, yeah. Only 25 watts. Doesn't really matter when you feel terrible.
WFTP.
Yeah. Apparently. Be doing 50 watts instead of 25 this week.
It's a deep burn.
Oh, wow. Jamie actually moved this time.
That's funny.
That's all I got.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, mate.
Well, thanks very much. Well, that just about wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. One of my favourite memories from the Giro, which I forgot to mention, was 99, I think. I forget what year it was. But it was when Mario Cipollini won the stage, won a sprint, and went to the podium dressed in a white suit. He went and got changed. And the
So
dude's
good.
wearing a white suit, white shoes, white shirt, like just absolute
Jeez.
panache.
I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Just outrageous. Like we need a new Cipollini.
Who's
Who's going to take up that mantle?
He was outrageous.
Who
wasn't
is
he?
going to take over the Cipollini role?
Yeah. Who knows?
Who's your favourite? Who's odds on for that one?
Yeah, who knows? All right.
Not Chris Froome.
Jamie, Danny, Louise, thank you very much for joining once again. Giro starts, well, by this time comes out, it's going to start tomorrow. So it's going to start Saturday. Get stuck in. If any of you guys want to chime in, as I said, use Breakaways and Breweries. We'll do a podcast at the end of this as well to wrap it up and then preview some of the other races coming up. But yeah.
Be the tour by then.
It will be the tour. But guys, thank you so much.
Tour.
Thanks everybody for listening. Stay safe out there and see you guys soon.